Guys, welcome back to the channel. I just had to make this video because the original Opel Manta has now come back in an electric form in the ElektroMOD GSe concept. And this is why I love electric cars and why I'm so excited about car design right now. So this car right here is fitted with the latest Opel technologies. You have LED light, pixel visor, and so-called pure panel cockpit. I'm gonna show you what I love about this design in Photoshop in just a minute here. It's powered by a 108 kilowatt or 147 horsepower motor. Not too powerful, but I don't think it has to be. It's a Manta. It's not supposed to be a crazy supercar, a hypercar. It's rear-wheel drive, and get this, this car comes with a manual 4-speed transmission, which I'll get into in just a minute here. Launched over 50 years ago with a 4-cylinder gasoline engine, but this time we see the return of the Manta as the first electric mod ever from Opel, and this stands for electronic modification, ElektroMOD. I love the name and I love that it's with a K as well. What I love more about this concept, it looks almost exactly the way that I would have designed this car if I was challenged to make a modern version of the Manta on my main channel, which I do all the time, but I haven't done the Manta. But if I were to dream up my modern version of what a Opel Manta should look like, this would be pretty much it. I love everything about it, that they kept the original proportions, and even small details such as the thin A-pillars and the vent right in the C-pillars. These are details that are taken straight out of the 1970s. Here's what Opel CEO Michael Lohscheller has to say about this car. The Manta GSe impressively demonstrates the enthusiasm with which we build cars at Opel. It combines our great Opel tradition with today's commitment to emission-free mobility for a very desirable, sustainable future. Opel is already electric with many models, and now the legendary Manta is too. See, this is what I want to see CEOs come out and say. I want them to encourage designers to do creative products like this. I think it's important because I have a feeling that designers have been bored for the past couple of decades because there is not a lot more you can do with the internal combustion proportions and the packaging that comes with that. Everything has been done already. So taking old classic designs like this and bring a new life into them with these kind of cool concepts. And if this is what we're gonna see from companies, from Hyundai as well, with the Pony EV, another one of my favorite recent concepts. It's just such a cool concept. Also, you could call it an ElektroMOD of the original Pony from Hyundai from the, I think, 80s. I think it's from the 80s. It could be 70s, but I'm pretty sure it's the 80s. If we bring that back, I think it's gonna bring so much more joy into the profession of being a car designer. So the original four-cylinder here has been, of course, replaced by an electric motor and 147 horsepower, and you also have the traditional black hood here on this concept. So in 1974 to 75, the Manta GTE was the original sport model with 105 horsepower. So 147 in this version right here is not too bad. Obviously, it's gonna weigh a little more, but I think it's gonna be a pretty quick car anyway. And it has a maximum torque of 255 Newton meters from standstill, which is equivalent to 188 pound-feet of torque. And of course, it's electric, so you get that from 0 and all the way up to whatever speed you're going. Now, for the manual gearbox here, the driver, this is so interesting with this concept. The driver has a choice of driving this car with a 4-speed shifter. So I'm not exactly entirely sure how this works, but it has a 4-speed shifter to bring back that feel of the 1970s driving experience. I think this is the first time I've ever heard of an electric car with a manual shifter. I would love to understand more about how this works, and of course try it out myself sometime in the future. If you want to drive it in fully automatic mode, all you have to do is just put it in 4th and off you go. If you put it in 4th, you're gonna put the car in automatic and you can just drive it like that. It's very interesting. The power is always transmitted to the rear wheels, of course, to retain the classic sports cars characteristics here. And the lithium-ion battery has a capacity of 31 kilowatt hours, allowing for an average range of about 200 kilometers or 124 miles. The range is not that great, but at the same time, it only takes 4 hours to charge this back up to full from home. Visually, the Manta GSe here features the new Opel fascia with the Opel Pixel visor stretched across the entire width of the front of the vehicle. LED technology is also used in the integrated daytime running lamps and in the main headlamps as well, and in the rounded 3D sculpted taillights, which is a fantastic touch and I think a great tribute to the original design as well. I'm a huge fan of this color here. This neon yellow works great with the contrast of the black hood. It feels modern at the same time, very retro, and the wheels are uniquely designed 17-inch alloy wheels with 195 40R17 tires in the front and 205 40R17 at the rear. And in the boot, you'll find the Manta badge in the new modernized script from Opel here. And the interior features a very simplistic design. You have two widescreen displays, one in front and one in the kind of center of the center console. They're both 12 and 10 inches, and they show you all the necessary information that you need. Not anything fancy. You get the information such as the range and the speed and charge status. I love a detail in this interior is the steering wheel. I think the design of the steering wheel is what I've been missing recently. It's just a steering wheel. There's no fancy buttons or scroll wheels or touch pads or anything on them. It looks like it could be taken straight from the 70s and applied onto the car here. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the design here, and what I think is so unique with this concept is it feels like they took it straight from the original and just I guess that's the name, ElektroMOD. It's like they retro-modded an original shell of the original car, because we still have the 70s design here. We don't have a proper, 2000s or modern bumper down here, which I'm not sure this would work in production for safety reasons. Maybe it would, but I think we need to bring the car more down to the ground. I hope not. I hope not any engineers are gonna come in and say that this can't be done in production, because if I really want to see this, first of all, in production, it's just a concept for now, but I'm trying to figure out what would need to change if this came into production. I think we have proper headlights here as well, so that is all sorted. We do have the identifying LEDs right here, and what I think is so cool about this is I think the A-pillars are actually regular thickness, but graphically they look super thin, just like we had in the 70s. And another detail that you can't really see here is that the crease here in the roofline it is one of these creases that we don't see anymore in manufacturing. So that's why I think this shell has to be taken from an original Manta and not be a brand new production. It's details like that makes me wonder if they just literally took an old shell and just applied all this new technology onto it. And you also have another details that gives this away is the wipers right here. They look very retro, very 60s, 70s, and also the side mirrors like here, and the handle, and this little vent in the C-pillar. So I just want to quickly show you this concept and make a video on it, because I think these are the concepts that really need attention, because this is what I want to see, as I said, in car design. And I want to see this go into production along with the Hyundai Pony. I think it's going to spark a new interest for EVs, not just young people, but also older people that has memories with these types of models. And I think it's a good idea from Opel, and I want to see this in production, and I hope I will see this out on the streets pretty soon.